Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Labyrinth Coronation, issue number 9 of 12. This was a really great reset to all the action that we'd been getting, all the story that we'd been getting. Could have been a little bit better. We'll get into that, but this was still really good. Now let's get into who made this comic book. All right, so story by Simon Spurrier, written by Ryan Ferrier, illustrated by Daniel Bayliss with Irene Flores, colored by Joanna Lafuente, and lettered by Jim Campbell. Character designs by Kyla Vanderkloot and Daniel Bayliss. Cover by Fiona Staples. And pre-order copy by Corey Godbey. How do I get pre-order copies? Because I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, I just like to get some of these, like review issues, so I get them a little bit of advance. Anyway, so this was good, man. We got to see that the prince himself, all right, basically, what's his name, David Bowie, he finds a mask, and yeah, he finds Beetleglum's mask, and he's like, oh my God, wait a second. It's funny how things repeat themselves. And so we get the repeat. We get to see Jennifer Connelly's character. God, she was always so gorgeous. Still is. Still is. We get to see this character for just a moment, and then it switches over to Maria, the character of this main story right now, this prequel, so to speak. Anyway, we see that she, she's kind of taken back into a very perfect, fantastic version of her previous life when she was with Albert, and Albert was, a good guy. But more than that, it's all the bad stuff that she didn't like about him, and exemplified versions of all the good stuff that she loved about him. The only thing that's missing is the baby. And that becomes evident later on in multiple different fashions, and I really love the way they did it. It was really beautiful the way that this comic book kind of came together and showed that that's still all that matters. There was a little bit, and of course, you got a couple other characters kind of resetting, and you've got a larger army, an armada, as it said. I like everything that happened in the background, but seriously, for me, the best part was the story with Maria trying to figure out Albert. I liked what happened. I wish that just a little bit more happened. I wish that the story expounded itself a little bit more. I would have liked to see that Maria gave up, not because she thought, oh, I just can't do this anymore. Like, we don't exactly know why she necessarily gave up. It would have been nice if she would have said something to the effect of, you know what, maybe I've just been being selfish. I mean, my kid is about to become the new master of the labyrinth, the new, prince, the new goblin prince, the Goblin King. There we go. He's going to be something amazing, far more than I could have ever offered him. Maybe I really am just being selfish like this, and then it would have made more sense that she's still tied to her child because, it's her child. But at the same time, she would have just been okay with letting go, okay with giving up, because even if she just convinced herself of that, as opposed to was made to believe that, that's more acceptable than just not knowing why she gave up. And then, either way, later on, this automaton that was Albert, or is supposedly Albert, he explains what's really going on, that the Goblin King is planning on breaking with tradition, and he's not going to leave this Goblin Prince to inherit the kingdom after the Goblin King dies. Oh no, rather, it's going to be a situation where he's trying to drain the life force of this child so that the Goblin King current can stay the Goblin King and just get his life energy back and live that much longer. That is enough for Maria to get up and go after, to go and resume her quest to get her child back. It's beautiful, but I just think that if just that little tiny caveat, if only they would have given that a little bit, and said, hey, she gave up because of this, as opposed to just giving up. Giving her that reason, I think, would have made this story a little bit better. Not even a little bit. It would have made it a lot better, in my opinion. Even then, it is still a beautiful story. I loved that background. I love that she was trying to move along, and trying to. But again, I think that a lot of that was because of what's in my head. My headcanon of why she's giving up, as opposed to just willy-nilly giving up. Still, gorgeous story. Love the art. Great plot. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.